Alright, and we're back. Today's video, we're going to inspect the rear brakes on the Street Glide. They've been making a hell of a lot of noise, and I just want to see how much meat's left on the pads, and, you know, to find out whether it actually needs a set of pads put on the back or not. The fronts look perfect. Obviously, the backs you can't see because the bags are in the way. But I did get caught, I think I mentioned in another video, I got caught in... We had 4 inches of rain one day. Well, I got caught in it. I mean, it was so bad I couldn't even see how fast I was going. I couldn't see the speedometer. It was just, you know, it was an extreme downpour. So it could be just that they got soaking wet and they're binding a little bit, but they are squeaking a little. So I just want to double check and make sure, because obviously, you know, you don't have much in the way of brakes on motorcycles. You know, you got three small rotors, but the calipers are even smaller than that. So first thing you have to do, obviously, you want to remove your saddlebag. Let's get this out of the way. We'll set this over here on the blanket, and then we can go from there. So, obviously, that's your caliper right there. All right. So we're going to see what we have to do here. Obviously, I've done brakes on the Dynas, but never on the big bikes. So it looks like 2 Allen head bolts, and then there's a pin back in here. So we'll see. But first thing I want to do is I want to inspect and see what the heck's going on here. So I got to get some light on the subject. See what we got here. Yeah, they're looking a little thin, but you know, the issue with motorcycle brakes is they're not very thick to begin with. So it's possible that all they've done is glazed over a little. Let's see what we got here. You know, I always keep an eye on eBay for things I might need. So I ended up picking up a brand new pair of pads. Actually, I bought 3 brand new pair of pads for $64 shipped. And normally I want to say I think they're like $47 or $48 a pair shipped. So the guy had 3 listed from a touring bike that he owned, and I went, well, I'll take them. And I bought all 3 from him. So that's the thickness of the pad right there. And I'm looking, and it looks like I still have half left. Hard to see up in there, but it looks like, without ripping it apart, it looks like there's still half the pad is left, I'll be honest. Obviously, I'm going to have problems inspecting the inside one. I'm going to have to... I had a mirror I used to keep around here for looking at inside pads and things like that, so take a quick break here. Not really a break, but I'm going to let you run while I'm looking for this mirror. I usually keep it right over here. Let's see if we can find it real quick. Not a dental mirror. It was actually an old motorcycle mirror that I kept just for inspection purposes. For, you know, finding issues, finding things. So, see what we got here. Move a few things out of the way, and we'll see if it's here. One of these days, we're going to be straightening up this garage before the weather gets cold. I like to, every year I give it a going over and straighten things out. So, we're going to be doing that in this garage this year. All right, let's get this out of the way. I got tools hiding here that I forgot I had, which is typical. I buy tools for one job and then I never use them again. All right, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it at all. Interesting. Could have sworn it was up in this box, but I don't see it. No mirror here. What the heck did I do with it? Okay. All right, well, I'm going to have to stop it for now. I got to see if I can find a mirror that I can put back in here to reflect the inside pad. All right, we'll be back. All right, so you can see I got the mirror there, catching a reflection on it, and it looks like the inner pad is actually gone worse than the outer pad. So I'm going to throw some pads on this. All right. I ended up using one of the Willie G mirrors. Since I had it handy, I figured I may as well. All right, I'm going to get tools together and then I'll be back. Okay, and I think we're ready to go here. Try to get some tools together quick. Come on. Go. I don't know if this light will work. I actually have a light here. Let's see, I haven't used it in years. It actually is halogen before the LED. And we'll see if that'll give us some light on the subject. Should work, just it gets hot. It's one of those old style halogen floodlights, portable floodlights for working. So let's see what we got here. See if it works. Oh boy, here we go. Put a light on the subject. See if I can get you in a position here. Excuse me. It's allergy season time. It's been a bad year for them to begin with, and now it's even worse. Make sure we got an angle where you guys can see. Let me see down in there. Come on. All right, you can see the bolts, 1 and 2, and then you have your pin. That's what actually holds the pads. Like I said, it's the same as on the Dyna. So generally they say you don't have to take the caliper off to do this job. You can actually pull the pin, and there's a way to slide slide out the pads, but I'm not going to play games. Like when I did my switchback and when I did my Sportster, I just yanked the caliper. Well, not the rear caliper, but on the Sportster. But on the bigger bikes, it's just easier to remove stuff, get it out of your way. So let me see if I can get this side cover off first. And the reason I'm pulling this is because, come on, get this out of the way here. Easier said than done. What it is that you just need a little extra room is what I'm after. So that should do it. Come on. There we go. Yeah, I want a little extra room because I have to bring the caliper back to flip it over. So, and then hopefully, like I said, this light, if I could get the light to hang, it would be better yet, but I don't really have a spot to hang it. Actually, let me try one thing. Maybe I can hang it up here and then angle it down. Let's see. Let's try this. Is that going to work? Yeah, that might work a little better. Let's see. Bring it down. All right, yeah, I think that'll work a little bit better. What I did was I hung it up on, I have an overhead shelf and I have hooks. So I have it hanging there. I probably should buy one of those LED lights that everybody uses for online videos and crap. So, all right, so first thing I'm going to do, you see I put a pan underneath it, drain pan. And what I always do is I like to spray with brake clean, try to clean it a little bit first. Get some of the dirt, the brake dust and stuff out of there. And that'll do that for now till we get it apart. And once we get it apart, then we'll get in there and we'll do a little more with the brake clean once I get the caliper off. So the first thing I want to do, I want to ratchet with an extension so we clear everything, and that should be a 5/16 if it's the same. Let's Let's see what we got. Bolts that hold the caliper should be 5/16. Yes, they are. All right, very good. So first thing we're going to do is pull those. Once you break them free, they just come out. All right, bolt number 1. And bolt number 2. Let's get them out of the way. They're both exactly the same size. I'm not sure if there's a torque spec. I'm going to have to look and see if it says there's a torque spec in order to put it back together. Come on. Damn thing doesn't want to stay up there. All right, so now what we're going to do is lift the caliper. Come on. Easier said than done. Am I going to have to? I may have to lower it down off the jack a little, just so the wheel comes up to give clearance for the caliper to clear. That's what it looks like. So it's binding up on the wheel itself. I like to do it level, but we got to do what we got to do here. Now let's lower this down a little bit. Make sure I didn't bump my side stand. Yep, we're still down. Obviously, you don't want to lower it down to on a side stand that's up. Nice and slow. Very good. Bring that down. The clip popped off. What it is, it holds the lines together. That's what went flying. So we'll keep that handy. Come on, go down. I've got enough room now. Almost. Down a little more. Come on. Try it. Works better if you take the locks off. You know, I'm all about safety, and I forgot to release my locks. So that's why it ain't going any further. It's to a certain point, and it's not going to go. Whoop. Nice and slow. Please. All right. Very good. Now we got it. All right. Let's see. Should be able to clear now. Should be able to clear, but it's not clearing. So I don't know what the heck's going on here. I want to get this side cover out of the way. I don't want to have to pull the seat, but it looks like I'm going to end up having to yank the seat off, which means I got to find other tools. All right, so before I do that, let's see if we can do this. I'm going to try to compress the pistons a little bit. A lot of times, that's what holds it up. There it is. Yep, so that's what it was. Pistons were binding it. So you can see here's the inside one. See it? Look, it's gone. So hopefully you can see that. Let's try that again. So see right there? There's hardly anything. Like the outer one has a little more, but the inner one is definitely gone. So, okay. So now that we got that off, what we got to do is find some needle nose pliers here. And then we're going to have to find, I believe, that's metric. The pin, I think, is metric. Should be, yeah, see, that's a 5mm. So we're going to back that out. But before we do that, we got to remove this pin. Okay? See, right here is a retainer pin. So, and what that does is it catches a groove on the cross pin. So what we're going to do is pull that straight out, like so, okay? And then don't lose that, because that's like a retainer for the pin itself. In case this backs out, it can only back out so far. So, and then we use our 5mm, and we back this out. Okay, so there's your actual pin. So I'll clean that and we'll lube that a little bit when it goes back in. Now you flip it over, all right, and then we should be able to pop these pads right out, like so. See? There's one, and you see how thin that is. Come on. Number 2. Hey? Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. All right, now, let me get my pan back over. What I want to do before I compress these, I always clean the pistons. I don't want to squeeze dirt back up inside. So, brake dust, I'm not into that. So I prefer spraying it some. The bike needs to be washed anyway. It's filthy. So it doesn't matter, you know, because after this, you know, generally you're going to be washing your bike anyway because you're handling everything. So what we want to do now is I'm going to wipe that out. That way the pistons are nice and clean. And all that brake dust is off of them. Okay. That's that. Now, let's see if we can squeeze this back in. Do them by hand. You don't really need to use the, you see how that went back up in? Okay? You don't really need to use a C-clip on this. You shouldn't have to. Anyway. There we go. That one. And then since it is a 4-piston, we got to get all 4 back in. But this doggone side cover keeps catching on me here, falling down. There we go. Now we got that wedged. All right, now we'll get to the next pistons. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. I think you can. They up inside there. Trying to leave you here. So what I'm doing, I'm just going to take my thumbs, again, push them in, and knock the side cover back down again. Come on. It doesn't take much to get them back, but the side cover keeps falling on me. Come on. Back up in there. Catch it on the bag here, maybe? I don't know. Catch it on something. Get it to wedge. Okay, that's good. Now it should stay there. All right, so you can see the pistons are going in. And we'll work side to side. Get them back up in. One more. Okay. So that should do the trick. All the way up in. Got a little more here. All right, so you see they're in. Now, let me get a pair of those brake pads. Front pads are twice as thick. I guess I'm a heavy back braker, which is unusual because I use the front brake most of the time. That's from riding sport bikes years ago. You get used to a certain way of braking, and I've always been front brake heavy. So I guess it's just because it's a touring bike. I mean, I don't know how long they're supposed to last. I don't know, but it is what it is, I guess. All right, now, there's our brand new pads. You see how thick they are. So now we want to get back up in there. That's where the pin is. Back up in. All right. Come on, right up in there. Yeah, I got to get it to ride up inside on the caliper itself. So you want to kind of go in on an angle and then push it up in like that. So now we'll get this other side here. Same thing, go in on an angle and then push up in. So now that we have that, we should be able to put our pin in. Again, the cross pin. So what I want to do now, I'm going to spray this off. Hopefully you guys are still seeing here. All right, we're going to spray that. Let me wipe it down. So basically all I'm doing, I'm just cleaning this like so. Okay? Get that cleaned a little bit. And then I have a little bit of brake lube here that I want to put on the pin Not a lot, obviously. You're just going to put a little. Where's it at? Where the heck is it? I know I got it here. Is that it? Yeah, I got it. Okay, you can fall to if you'd like. Go for a ride. All right, is this it? Yep, there we go. So we're just going to put just a little dab is all I want. I just want a smidge just where the pins ride. Now, there we go. And we'll put a little bit of brake lube on there. I know you won't be able to see it, but you'll see the shine. You can see it's got a little bit of shine to it. That's the brake pin lube. All right, now, we'll run this back in. Okay, so now we're through the pins. Now, we're going to snug this back down. Again, I didn't see any torque specs. I'm sure there is one, but it wasn't very tight. I'm just going to snug it. All right, we're through the pads. Make sure everything's in place here. And like I said, so we're just going to put a little snug on that. That's all it is to it. So that's snugged. Okay. Pin is in, snug down. Now, caliper back up. Drop back down in. There's the caliper in. And then, of course, we have our bolts for the caliper. Get my big head out of the way. Get them started. Don't forget your pin. I almost forgot it laying there. So, okay, before I do that, let me pull the caliper back out. And it was laying right there next to the bolt. I nearly forgot it. Okay, so there it is there. Tip the caliper up. You guys can see the caliper there. Okay. So this pin's just going to pop back. Come on, there's a groove there. So it pops in the groove. Okay. See it there? All right. Pops in the groove, and you're good to go. All right. Now let's put this caliper back in place. Turn you around so you can see. What happens is my screen keeps shutting off, so it's a bit of a pain in the backside. I have it set because I don't want it to waste battery when I'm on the road, so I have to constantly hit the touch screen. Get that started. Yeah, I have to constantly hit the touch screen to make sure, you know, I'm recording what I want to record. Okay. So same thing. Now we're just going to snug that down. I'm bottoming them out first, and then just quick snug. 1 and 2. That's that. And then our clip goes back on. Okay. So what that does, this rides here. If I can get you an angle, you can see. Okay, right down here. All right. So one side goes over the brake hose, the other side goes over the ABS for the wheel bearing, the ABS tone ring. So that's what that is. All right. So now what we're going to do is touch the brakes, pump it, pump it. There we go. So now I'll get the pedals back up. So always make sure you pump your pedal, because you had to compress your pistons. So since we compressed the pistons, we wanted to pump the pedal to squeeze the pistons back to the pads and then push on the pads. So now we're going to jack this back up. Get the wheel back off the ground. Like so. There we go. And get that. That way the locks are in place. Now I'm going to spray this one more time, just to make sure if I got any fingerprints on it. Let that go. All right, so now that can do that and dry a little bit. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to fire it up, put it in gear, and we're going to make sure brakes are working. There's no funny noises or anything like that. But again, as you can see, okay, this was the inner pad. See? Just about gone. That pad is just about gone. And the outer one, again, has a little more meat. You can see it has just a smidge more meat on it. So, but that's why we're changing. What happens, they started squealing. And when they start squealing, I probably put, because the squeal would come and go. So I probably put 200 miles on it once it first started to make the squeal. So that's how I knew, like, the brakes. I said, you know, it's either from getting caught in the rain or, you know, it's time for pads. So, and sure enough, as you can see, it needed a set of pads on the back. So, all right, so before we do anything else, let me fire this up. These are Screaming Eagle pipes, by the way, on this bike, mufflers. Guy bought them from, I got them for 200 bucks. They had very little miles on them because he didn't like the sound. The problem is he didn't wait long enough for them to actually break in. He didn't give it time, you know, because the packing has to burn out. If he had done that, I mean, to me, I'm happy. I love the sound of these mufflers. So there's a set of pads. You see how quick it was. Wasn't that long of a job. Not that hard. So, I mean, that's it. So if if you see a deal on a set of pads, like I'm always looking on eBay for parts, as you can tell from my videos, how I'm always talking about how I got this deal or how I got that deal. Look for stuff. Eventually you're going to need, if you're going to keep your bike for a while, which most of us do, you're going to need a set of pads. So you find your part number, and then you search. And that's what I ended up doing. I found my part number on EBC, and I went on eBay and I searched, and I found, like I said, a bunch of different sets, single set pads. I want to say $47. And this guy had 3 sets, and he wanted 80. And I said, I figured it up. I said, with the tax, this is how much I want to spend. So I said, look, I'll give you $64 shipped, and plus tax. I'll pay the tax. And he took it. So, and now I got 3 sets of pads for, less than half price. So, like I said, it worked out well. So always, especially if you're going to be keeping your bike for a while. I love this bike. It ain't going anywhere. So always keep an eye out for things that you need. And I'm happy to say that the new shocks, beautiful. Bike's riding great again. It's not losing any air. So I'll show you that one more time. You can see the shock that's bad. All right, you see them side by side. You can see they've been laying there since I did the job like 3-4 weeks ago. And you can tell which one's bad just by looking. So there you have it. And I knew one of them was bad because it was really riding rough and taking too much air to pump up, well, because it had collapsed. So, all right. With that said, now we'll get this cover back in place. See, I couldn't really pull this cover off, as I told you guys before. That's where I have my garage door opener hidden behind that cover. So all I got left to do now is basically put the saddlebag on, get it off the jack, and then I got to take it for a ride to bed it in. And then what you do to bed it in is you get up to about 25 miles an hour, and you just drag your brake a little bit just to heat it up, and then come to a stop. Take off again, get it up to about 25, 30 again, drag the brake a little, and then bring it to a stop. You do that 3 times, then what you do is you get it up to about 40, And then you do the same thing, but in between each time, you're letting it go for probably 30 seconds because you want it to cool back down. And then you do it again, and once you get it up to about 35, 40, then you'll do that 3 times. And then again, you'll get it to 35, 40, and then you'll do like a panic stop with it. And then your brakes should be bedded in. You should be good to go. That way you don't scuff anything. You don't cause yourself any issues with the pads delaminating and things like that. So, all right, everybody. With that said, as always, thanks for watching. All right, keep your eyes out for whatever the next video is. I have no idea. I know I have a bunch of Ask the Angels in the can that I got scheduled. Some of them are pretty good. I love their answers. They crack me up. So, and then there's a few more things on the Sport Glide, and then basically I'm done. I'm working on friends' bikes, cars, just, trying to help people out. And when I do it, I may as well make a video. So, all right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe if this video helped you out in any way. Hopefully it does. You see how quick it goes to get the job done. And, that's the extent of it. So, all right, I'll see you guys in the next video.